Well, folks, I figure I'll just talk to you guys while I'm waiting for Randy to come back on the to join me again. So we got 14 already. That's great. Go on, doggy. Welcome, everybody. We'll do this again once Randy joins back in and we do a proper intro. But the problem exists between chair and keyboard. A user error. Hey, Legion. Can you guys hear me well? I hope so. I can't tell one way or the other unless you say. Since I don't have my co-host on here yet to tell me he can or cannot hear me. Wow, we went from 14 to 8. I guess I scared you guys off. Thanks, phone guy. And welcome to. Are you the only one here from the DV Army? If so, we'll still welcome all of you. Oh, okay. I'll back up a little bit. It's a new mic, so it's probably a bit hot. I haven't really fiddled with the settings yet. But yeah, apparently, for absolutely no reason, some dude, I guess a dude, on Twitter called me a bigot. But hey, Shoo, how you doing? It was the context was as we were talking about, or we were going back and forth about Big Geek Emporium, and folks were excited and happy, and this Twitter rando came interjected. Oh, hold on.
Can you hear me?
Nope. I don't know what to do, bud.
Okay, fine now. I don't know what it is.
You couldn't find you could not find a headset?
Yeah, I got one. I don't know if it matters, but I got one. I don't see how that's going to matter.
Oh, well, that's interesting. The folks can hear you, but I cannot.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
That is interesting.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I turned my volume on my speakers all the way up.
Well, they can hear me, so that's important.
And I turned my speaker volume is okay.
Now?
I can't hear you. I can hear other things from my computer, just not you.
Silent Shoo says, setting on Steam.
You are not muted on my side. No, I'm not using OBS Silent Shoo. This is StreamYard.
Okay.
Hold on a second. My settings. Where are my settings? Settings. Audio. There we go. Try talking.
Hello.
No, one more. I gotta choose one more different thing.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father.
Audio.
Go, Charles. I agree with you. That's a very good decision on your part. CBK plot, baby. That's nice.
So when I changed my camera out, it screwed the settings up all over the place.
Can you hear me yet?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
So
CBK, you see CBK's plot. That's right on, dude.
Half the reason you watch.
Half the reason, man. You know it.
All right.
You know
okay, so what I'm going to do is we are going to do a proper intro. So
You're right. We are. Get ready, baby. Hey, guys, we're ready. Rocking and rolling. Welcome to Biggest Geekus. We're your host. Together again at last, finally. I'm Randy.
And I'm Joe.
This is episode 101 of our show, and it's actually going to happen. The date is Tuesday, August 16th. I don't have the month, 2022.
It is August. And once again, it is my fault. We thought it was your fault, and it was my fault. It was fault isn't the right word. It's was my technical issue on my side. But there was no way for us to know that.
No way.
Except for having somebody else listen in.
So what happened? I mean,
okay, like I said, I got a new mic.
Gotcha.
And instead of the computer and the internet saying, well, we don't care if you have a new mic, we're going to leave our settings the same until you change it. It didn't do that.
I can't believe Parkinson's saying this about you, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe is the tech guy. He is. We believe. We shall pretend this did not happen. No one saw this. What's a pebcat?
Blaming Windows.
Huh?
Problem exists between keyboard and chair.
Okay.
Something like that.
Well, all the usual suspects. It's good to see everybody. Man.
Chair and keyboard.
Sup? Kill Ray.
Hello, Cigar.
Everybody's in the house. Can't even name them all. They're so cool.
Right. Well, as I was explaining, we had a game we played.
We did.
Yes. Right before we talk about the game, I just wanted to reiterate that I am apparently, officially, according to a Twitter rando, a bigot.
Joe, what bigoted thing did you say?
Everybody's welcome to our store. Somehow in the mind of these folks that translates to bigot, and I'll show you how.
Oh, okay. Let's follow logic. Because
I say everybody's welcome, and I'm not censoring everything, that's going to bring in all of these people, that are undesirable, and drive everybody else out. So it's kind of a what's the word? It's a dog whistle for all of the bigot geekus. That's actually the name we had. We had to change it for legal reasons. So yeah. So instead of the face value, we welcome everybody, they have to dig around and rationalize according to themselves. And he may have seen some of my other posts or watched a couple of our videos where we're kind of disparaging to the left. So that doesn't mean to them that we disparage the left. That just means we're full on bigots. He called Venger a Nazi. I mean, so I don't get it.
Now that I've met Venger, that is ridiculous. I mean, even I never thought he was before, but Cigar DM asked a little bit earlier. He said, "Did your membership card show up too?" Joe probably got his. Mine's still in the mail though, bud. Bigot membership club, I'm sure.
Yeah. It showed up with that burning cross. I had to, needed water and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
It was kind of a sight.
Yeah.
They were a little overzealous in their delivery methods.
Yeah. Legion saying he thinks he might have a similar guy. We played. Did you tell the guys all about it already, or should we talk about the session?
No, we were trying to figure out tech stuff.
Okay.
And talking about bigotry because, of course, I'm an expert.
Yeah. So we had 6 folks at the table. My buddy Joseph here. I was running the game. I started 3rd level OSE. I thought it went pretty well. I thought the travel I was rolling for random encounters, and it was basically a travel night. Oh, Larry Elliott. Good evening. Joe was listening. Like listen to wife. Oops. Oh, okay. Like he listens to his wife.
Can't hear you. Yeah, because that's what it would look like, because they can hear us all or both. All the folks out there can hear us both.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, but anyway, I thought it was a pretty good session, though. I don't think it was great. I do want to talk about it some. I kind of don't want to give any of the stuff away because it's part of my module right now. We can give bits and pieces, but I have kind of a travel montage and not montage. No, we have a traveling part of the adventure that we did. Not that everyone would have to, but and it was fun. But from my perspective, what did you think, Joe?
I had fun.
Okay, it was good then. Okay.
Yeah, it was good.
Few interesting encounters, not all combat. Killed a couple of characters right off the bat. Dude,
this is a thing about D&D when it's not 5th edition, and this is a retro clone, so it's essentially D&D with some differences, not too huge. Rolls are swingy, especially when you're low level. The stakes can be so high because anything can kill you. So there's like 4 or 5 really good rolls on your part.
Oh yeah,
at least 4 or 5.
I was insane with that encounter. Yeah. And then you guys failed saves, and we dropped Mr. Larry's character. We dropped Martinson's character, and Joe's character dropped, but he survived. I added the additional 2 Constitution checks to get a chance to make it. But
it was really the biggest geekest, triple handshake under the table. You're going to be okay, Joe. We're bros. Everybody else.
Joe, you're my favorite. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So anyway, but we got to barely to the beginning of the main adventure, but I knew it, and got lots to work on. Something I found out this week, other than the game, though, did you know that you can get all the dungeon magazines are now legally downloadable, apparently. Well, if Reddit is to be believed, the dungeon magazines are downloadable. I know you can get on there and find them easily on some kind of something. That's what they claimed. I haven't checked.
Well, if the source isn't Drive-Thru RPG or Wizards of the Coast, I wouldn't trust it as a proper source. Not that it's I'm not going to badger anybody if they go and get them, but saying that they're now free and it's not, it would mean something coming from the owners of the magazine, not just some dude on Reddit.
No, he claimed Watsy said it was fine, but I don't know. I need to look into it before I download it. So, but
I would look into that thread on Reddit and see what the origin of it is, and it could be somebody in their PR department or their whatever department would handle such a message said, we don't really care anymore.
Yeah,
it's possible.
Martinson made a comment that he even brought snacks. He brought some, and I don't know if you guys know this, and I'm sure you've been dying to hear it because you want to know every bit of my life. I have a gluten issue.
I have something for that.
What's that?
Sourdough. Sourdough starters. Do a sourdough starter. According to YouTube, some lady on YouTube, trying to remember Homestead with the Boons or something like that. She claims, and she didn't give any links or anything like that, but what she says is grains are coated with a preservative, and that is the thing that is messing with people who have issues with grains. So not the grain itself. That might be the new research. So the way to get rid of it is to essentially you're fermenting in a way with sourdough, and you do a sourdough starter back in the old days, and a lot of ladies do that, or people do that now, and they pass them around. I got some starter here. Would you want it? And it's like having the way she, once you get used to the method, you can have baked bread goods every day, and it's not really all that complicated.
But that probably tastes like bread.
Yeah, it tastes exactly like bread.
Like
You can,
gluten-free crap, which almost
yeah. She was showing how you can easily make like crackers, pizza dough, biscuits, waffles, bread, and all kinds of stuff. And I was like, I was mesmerized. I mean, it's an amazing process, especially when somebody else is doing it.
It's really especially to feed me. But Monkey says apparently wheat sourdough is low gluten. Yeah. Oh, good point, Arn Man. Calling Joe out again. Ladies doing sourdough. Bigot.
Yes, that's me. That's me.
Anyway,
Ladies. I did correct myself. I self censored there.
So you caught
after the fact.
You caught your own unconscious bias, which is literally impossible.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting blasted. Biggest Geek is the gluten-free cooking channel.
We're here to help.
Anyway, Martinson brought the gluten-free for me. Licorice and Oreos, and it didn't say them. He was one of the two that went down permanently. But anyway, that was the highlight of the night. Was killing 2.5 characters. Joe survived, but he was a cleric. It would have been deadly if the cleric went down.
Right, and I was wondering if people were getting paralyzed, and I was like, okay, I can handle paralysis because in this version of the game, Cure Light Wounds also cures paralysis. Mm-hmm. So I was like, great. As soon as it's my turn, I'm going to, heal somebody. And then I went down. So
did you notice? I noticed this. I decided to make you guys 3rd level to be a little more beefy, but fighters don't even get. I think it was fighters. I know dwarves don't get a +1 in the first 3 levels to attack.
No. It's slow progression.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's slow. But I guess that gives you know what that does? I think I know what it does in old school. It extends the life of monsters. So right now, 10, 12 orcs is a fight for you guys. I mean, it could be.
Yeah.
Conceivably. I mean,
if you're rolling.
I was on fire, dude. That's not.
Dude.
I know. It's crazy.
I mean, we have a decent sized party too. We had 6 people.
Yeah.
Generally 4 or 5,
yeah.
But 6 you can roll into as long as it's not like a typical module.
Mm-hmm.
And you just wipe the floor with everything because they're usually not designed for that size party.
Yeah.
So if you don't adjust on the fly like a good DM does, if you're using a module, then you will wipe the floor. You will wipe every room, except maybe the big bad. It might take a few extra rounds, but 6 people should handle some good challenges.
Yeah. Now, Martinson says Randy rolled multiple crits. The truth is, crits are a add-on by me. Those don't actually exist in OSE or original D&D either. There were no written crits that I can recall.
Mm-hmm. No, that started in a Dragon Magazine article, and I wonder if that was a borrowed. I'm not well read on D&D history, so I know there's going to be people rolling their eyes or whatever. Like everybody knows where crits come from. But I remember reading about them in a Dragon magazine and say, "Hey, let's do crits," and you're like, "No." that was back in your most stingy days, I believe, when that started.
Yeah.
You guys can already do so much. Why do I want to give you all crits?
Larry, you could have given Martinson all the bonuses you want. You killed him at True. He didn't get to swing a sword or anything, so that was pretty quick.
Well, all those boys that landed on Normandy Beach.
Yep.
I mean, how many of them never even raised a weapon?
Yeah.
So you're in good company, Mortensen.
Yeah.
Martinson.
Well, Martinson, yeah. Anyway, all right. Anything else exciting this week for you besides getting to play in my game, which was glorious?
That was really awesome. But what was also awesome? Big Geek Emporium opening up.
Yes, dude. Right into
opened up Saturday night.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, there's a couple things I have to purchase. David Giles got some things I want on there.
Yeah, I'm really. I was thinking today. I keep looking in the user list because I have access to that, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, Shadow, that's probably true. I was wondering. I kind of lost my train of thought, but crits were in a Dragon magazine article, but they obviously, or they may have obviously come from a different source in AD&D, or maybe even later. That it wasn't even first edition thing, was it?
I don't think so.
No, so it came later. and so probably came from another system. Suggested to borrow. So Arduin sounds like a good starting point. It's an older game anyway. So yeah. So the other thing that happened was, like I just said, Big Geek Emporium opened up.
Yes.
We had
30.
We had 4 products.
Okay.
And I was looking in the user list, and we've gone from 4 to almost 50. We're getting close to 50 users. We have 30 products. We started out with 4, have 30 products, and that's really all. That's all great. I haven't seen a single friend in there, but then I remembered I haven't announced it to you guys, so you didn't know.
Yeah. It's live. The alt drive is live.
Yes.
So.
And Bruce Lombardo said, I'm trying to like alt drive, but altdrive.com, but it sounds a little bit to him, it sounds too much like alt.com, which I don't know what that is.
Neither.
So probably maybe I don't want to know. Maybe it's the alt-right's home on the internet.
Yeah, who knows?
Yes, and Venger's got a free product up. I'm sure he'll put up some more things, but he started out with that. I need to do some either a Q&A, a separate episode, a separate live stream Q&A.
Yeah.
Because people are getting confused by the interface, and I have to apologize. I didn't design it, so it was WooCommerce is the designer of that. And on that front of design, I was contacted today by a person who does web design professionally.
Yeah.
Both front end and back end.
Cool.
And he's going to work with us as far as paying him, so I don't have to throw a big chunk of dough, which I don't have yet.
Cool.
At him.
Excellent.
So I'm not sure precisely when that's going to start. I got to find out. I've got to make a account for him to access the files and I don't know the guy, and I'm sure he's trustworthy, but I'm kind of a little nervous giving somebody administrative access to the site, and I can't make another account.
Right.
So I got to contact the hosting and see what the options are. So
Malachi has a question for you. Is it possible to switch from a customer to a vendor at a later date? I hope so.
No, you're stuck forever. Sucks to be you. No, it's just an option you can choose. I'm pretty sure. I will look into that. I don't know specifically off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure you can just opt to do that.
This is what I want to purchase. CBK Ply. I plan on getting Dungeons and Delvers by David Gow Friday unless I see something else. I just don't know.
It's a good deal. It's a good deal.
His is like he has a dice pool version and I think an old school version, both, right?
Yeah, and the old school version I think is it a higher? It's priced higher. I haven't compared page counts, but the page count on it's a $19.99 for the old school version, and I'm pretty sure it's like 300 plus pages.
Nice. Dude, dig this. Tim Scott told me earlier this week his son made an RPG as a fair project, and they plan to upload it to sell.
Yeah, why not?
It's pretty unique. I think that's super cool, Tim. So
is it ready now, or do you need some polish on it first? Because there's no reason you don't have it up there already.
He showed me a physical copy of it. The dice pool version is on BGE, right? Legion.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I saw it. I don't have the site up at the moment.
I'll have to look at it. I was looking. That's the ones I was going to buy. I may buy them both. So
let me see if I can. What's that website name again? Oh yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah, so it's pretty exciting. We got this going. I hope to have my module up sooner rather than later, but I don't know when.
People are getting confused on the interface when they load up their products because I've had at least a couple folks not realize that they need to put a price on their product and they need to upload their file. So, so I'm sure after a Q&A and, maybe some instructions of some sort that I can put up. Yeah, it's on the first, I just loaded up the page. It's on the, it's the middle item out of the 9 that are displayed. If you're on a PC, if you're on your phone, I'm not sure how far down the line it is. You can also use I have a filtering option on the side there. You can look up David Giles' name and you'll just find his stuff. So under the creators, under the filters. So
that's the guy that does the Wretched RPG, the pair of them. What's their name?
That is the Red Room.
Right. They got several things up too. That's exciting.
Oh, right. At one point it was
just
about 15 products.
Yeah.
And 12 or 13 were theirs.
Nice.
And even now, I'm pretty sure they have half the product still.
Yeah.
Pretty close to it.
Yeah. That's cool.
All right.
That's such exciting news. That's so cool. All right. You ready to dive into the main topic? Or you got more you want to talk about? Any other questions from the stream about Big Geek Emporium?
Let's see. We've got the one detractor on Twitter. I added the quartering. I don't know if it's going to amount to anything, but if anybody out there has an inroad to the quartering,
yep.
I mean, he has 200,000 plus followers on Twitter. We are small fish, so he may not deign to look at us at all.
He's Jeffrey or Jeremy Hambley, right? And
Jeremy.
He went to sorry.
He got beat down at
that's right.
At Gen Con, or I don't know. I don't know if he got beat up. He definitely got punched a couple of times.
I heard those. I don't know the whole story. It was old, but I'm glad
it's old news.
Okay, and it got worked out between the two guys, I believe. But I was wondering if he was a gamer. He talks a lot about stuff. So okay.
Yeah, it's just he talks about that because it's probably there's more people to listen. There's more people that want to listen to that content than just role playing stuff.
Yeah, we'll see. So hopefully he'll at least give us a nod. Maybe get you a quick interview or something. I don't know if he does interviews. So, all right.
Well, according to Demo, sent him a care package after Gen Con, the Gen Con where he got punched, right? And he read his letter on air, so that's pretty cool. I don't have an inroad like that, so.
Maybe you can use Patrick. He's all buddies with Jeremy Hambley, I'm sure. Is it Jeremy Hambley?
I'm thinking there it's Jeremy.
Okay.
Well, pretty sure.
Even hey, look, whatever. Hope he does well, whatever his deal is.
Yeah.
But I see him periodically. So, all right. So,
Magic the Gathering. Okay, not role playing, I guess.
Gotcha. That's cool. All right. You ready to dive into the big topic, man?
Let's go.
Okay, we're talking about starting a new campaign. Now, we've kind of done this a little bit before, but I kind of want to dive into this sort of in pieces. So since we started one, I'll bring that up periodically too. But so you got to choose your setting and your rules set. So if you're doing a brand new campaign, what do you think? And, I mean, I think by default you always want to go old. We think D&D right off the bat.
Right.
I don't think.
I know that there's kind of a contingent of folks out there in the interwebs who kind of who don't like that folks default to D&D, or maybe they don't like it when people default to any particular system. I don't know what the problem is. If you know what you like, you run with it. If you like playing lots of different games, then you roll a die and pick one, or you just pick one you haven't played in a while. People do that too. So I don't think that's important.
I don't either. And for us, we're likely to do that, but I don't think that's always a requirement, of course. So I think for me, so you're talking about setting and rule set. I'm more inclined, just because I think D&D, even if we say forget D&D, I get inspired more by a setting. Oh,
if you think you can get Tim Pool's attention, that would be cool too.
Yeah, Patrick says he can try to reach out, plays RPGs, always looking for Okay. Well, we do it, man. I don't think I think of setting first. Do you think of rules set first? Probably.
No, not necessarily. I think both may be parallel because a lot of times, yes, Shadow, cool.
Yeah, do it.
Thank you.
Yep.
And what is? Oh, never mind. Yeah. Sometimes, a lot of times they're married together.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Fantasy settings can take any sort of fantasy rule set. That is true. But I mean, if you're thinking of a well-known setting,
right,
then most likely it's going to have a rule system, a default rule system for it. If you are imagining your own setting,
right, a homebrew setting.
If it's a homebrew setting, then all bets are off.
Yeah.
You're going to have to choose something. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Unless you want to go amber diceless.
In that case, no one's going to be playing with you.
No one's going to be playing with you because I'm not going to be there either.
Joe is going to run it.
I'll run away from it. I need me some dice. It's not really much of a game if there's no dice.
So if I say, Joe, dude, I'm going to start a new campaign. I got an idea for a setting. Okay. Or I'm going to use a setting. Do you want to hear me say Forgotten Realms, Greyhawk, Dark Sun, Deadlands, World of Darkness, something that's published? Or do you want to hear me say, okay, look, like I told you that. Remember the one we did for 13th Age? You were survivors from an old world. You come to a brand new world. This wizard saved a whole world from destruction and saved who they could and brought them over in these magical ships. And I bring the whole, my own twist on a setting. Which do you think? Or better yet, let's go a couple questions. Are you likely to do that if you run a game that you're going to make your own, or are you more likely to grab a prefab?
I would probably. Well, it depends on if I feel time constrained. If I feel time constrained, I'll probably pick a prefab, but I'm only going to grab the bits of it from a mile high point of view. I'm not going to pay too much attention to like published timelines or anything like that. I'm going to use it for the maps, going to use it for like the counter tables and a couple of locations, and then it'll become mine after a while.
Oh, it looks like Shadow and Sun has to be kicked off Big as Geekus.
Yeah.
Sorry, no one can like Amber Diceless.
It is unlikable. It's objectively bad.
So anyway, when I think about a setting, I guess for me, setting has to come first, and I want to do my own every time. That's what I want to do. But I find the older I get, the easier it is to just grab one of the D&D settings or some other setting and just go with it. I've created in my post-35 life 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 maybe settings that are my own. I don't know if you played in the Savage World sort of apocalyptic superhero setting I did. You played in Seven Spheres.
Mm-hmm.
I played in this one that didn't get very far after Seven Spheres, where I was taken at the end of the Dungeon Magazine run. They had all these small maps that pieced together. All these different maps are in these different adventures, and they pieced together to become a single map, and they published it in one of the adventures. And I was going to run this world. I was going to build this island world just based on those. But all I had was maps. I didn't have any adventures, which is kind of a challenge. Right now, we're building the one we have. I'm trying to pick up where we left off in Mudsword and use our setting, which I think would work with almost any fantasy system you wanted to use, because I don't think we're going to have too many, not sure how many rules exactly we're going to have in that setting. We might. I think that's my preference, but it's kind of tough. And even if you run published, are you more likely to grab, if you're saying, hey, I'm going to run Forgotten Realms, are you more likely to grab just a piece of it? Ooh, I think Chult is really cool, and so I'm going to run in this area and just go with it. Because
like I said, I would pick a subset of the things in a published one, and then over time just make whatever I'm using my own. I'm not going to care too much about the settings specifics. So let's say Forgotten Realms, and you may never meet Elminster.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So Elminster, if the players want to, I mean, I never as a player cared to be playing in a world with so many well-known, high-powered figures.
Right.
Because I always felt like I'm the kid, yet I'm still being called on to solve all the problems these adults are supposed to be able to figure out. And there's a lot. It's not like there's just a few.
No.
Like in Forgotten Realms, there's a ton. There's every time they publish something, there's like 50 people that they name. 20th level this, 18th level that. Harpers. Everybody's a Harper. So
17th level fighter, 9th level wizard. Yeah, they're
right.
crazy powerful in second edition.
And which game?
Had the Circle of 8.
Huh?
Even Greyhawk had the Circle of 8.
Right. And who had the adventuring companies? Was that
originally that? People might
was that a Greyhawk thing?
Oh, that was the first time I ever heard. I remember in the first edition Forgotten Realms box set, they said you should name your adventuring group company some name, and they had there was a company of the Flaming Fist, right?
Right, something like that. They had some examples, and the leader had the Hammer of Thunderbolts and Tons of Ogre Power. I'm like, well, he's got them. I'm never going to get them.
Yeah. Aaron Wilkerson, every Forgotten Realms campaign I've ever played in, Drit Stewart has showed up to save us. Oh, boo! That's so. I'm sorry.
Did you punch the DM in the nose?
That is horrible. Dude, now the one thing I did do, whether it was believable or not, but Joe alluded to it. You might have Elminster send you an adventure, and Joe, why am I doing it? I'm too busy to do it. I mean, it might be cheap, but he wasn't. He was not saving you guys. That was.
And to be honest, when you read the novels, you're like, oh yeah, they probably are, because there's always lots of stuff going on.
But I hear that a lot from folks that the Forgotten Realms has got too many high level characters. But I do think the Forgotten Realms is a pretty darn good setting. Just in general, I like it. I haven't played a whole lot in it.
Yeah, I have been meaning to read the Amber novels.
I need to read them.
I just haven't yet, and we've been given homework by Shadow and Son because apparently he loves them.
Yeah,
swears by them.
Oh,
he's probably maybe we brought some tears to his eyes when we
I think
talked about Diceless. No, he loves Amber Diceless, and he will die on that hill. And I'm like, yeah, you will. And you'll probably die alone.
Yeah, but Killraven says the first edition gray box is the best version. Okay, it's too many through. There's been too many run through my hand.
Yeah, I can't remember the specifics there because
I can't remember.
Yeah, there's been so much Forgotten Realms material, and that's the other thing. In a home group that, like our group right now, we could probably pick up. Probably use a subset of Forgotten Realms, and nobody's going to cry about anything.
No, but
especially if you make it your own, because of the group we have, we play well together. But some people, some players will call you to task if you're not canon perfect in your.
They do that once with me.
Yeah, I mean,
how I am. I'll be like, I don't care what you think.
Right, we bug on Hollywood for not getting it. Yeah, we bug on Hollywood for doing that, but it's one thing to make a Hollywood movie and bank on the fans to come see the movie, and then when you get to the movie is only resembles the IP superficially, and so that's disappointing. But at a game table, you might still get disappointed as a player.
Yep.
When you meet Elminster, and maybe he wears a big red nose like Bozo, and maybe he's a bumbling wizard and isn't very powerful, and you're expecting something else. But if you are a young player, if you are an older player, you should realize that the DM is going to make changes
or mistakes.
I'm
like, I didn't know that. But if someone tells me, I'm still not likely to change it because it's just kind of weird to like, okay, you're right. It should be a 7th level wizard. But the point is, I see what you're saying because it does seem like you're talking out of both sides of your face. If you're like, movies, don't mess with my IP. But the thing is, I think the RPG experience is, yes, Forgotten Realms keep the same spirit, but you can't always. I mean, every DM's table is different.
Yeah, our tables are DIY,
Yeah,
right? It's a do-it-yourself spirit at your game table. It's not a precise, you do it this particular way. That's why when people say raw, you have to play these rules only. This you have to play according to this really strict set of criteria all the time, every time you play.
Gygax didn't even follow the rules in the AD&D handbook.
Right, because he made them for tournaments and he had his own thing he played it on. That's the way people say.
I hear a lot of folks say this. Darthiak, I would really like to play in almost any other 2E setting than Forgotten Realms.
Yeah.
We have a good chunk of players that don't like that. It's like Joe said, too many high-level guys. But I think the game could be fine. But I want to finish that point. I'm kind of rambling. Yeah. I want to finish that point. A young player comes in. He doesn't like it. Oh, I can't believe you changed it. You tell him, look, I can't run the things. I don't want to run it exactly as written. Or I didn't know that. Or, look, part of role-playing is making it your own. So just kind of deal with it. Now, if I do something setting-shattering, which is kind of hard because Legion made a good point. Forgotten Realms, he says, is too cosmopolitan. Maybe. FRE equals 2E splat books, and maybe. I mean, that may be the case. I don't think that ruins Forgotten Realms in the general sense, and might in 5E, 3rd edition, I don't know. It wasn't too, it is pretty cosmopolitan, but whatever. So when they show up, what I mean by that is whenever the player shows up and he goes, okay, Randy, I'm going to do Forgotten Realms. If I say the Red Wizards of Thay are actually a lawful good group of nuns that help people, you're starting to kind of poop on the setting. But if I say, oh, Zast Tam is a 43rd level wizard, wait a minute, he's only 22nd level and he's a lich. And I'm like, okay, Zast Tam is a living being in my setting right now. That's not the end of the world. That's a little bit of that's probably the harshest thing I can get away with, but it doesn't ruin the whole setting. Now, I probably should think of him as a lich, but 43rd level, 22nd level, who cares?
Oh, that's awesome. You knew Roger Zelazny.
Oh, neat.
Shadow and Sun. Shadow of Shadow and Sun was a close personal friend of Roger Zelazny. The closest thing we have to celebrity.
Is he Shadow? Are you a fan of the novels or also the Amber Diceless RPG? That's what we're
saying. Both. He's a close personal friend of mine, and he was taken from us far too early. And his novels are freaking awesome. If you read them and don't like them, I understand.
No opinion on that. I need to read them.
Yeah, I've been meaning to, like a lot of books.
Like a lot of folks, yeah. So yeah, I think raw or modified is fine. Do you have a preference? I was saying, about to start a campaign, or you're in the back of your mind, man, and let's just stick with D&D because it's what we know. Are you like, man, I hope Randy does his own thing? Or you're like, I really wish he'd do Dark Sun. Or I know if Max was at my table, we know what he would ask for. Planescape. But I mean, the point is,
and Sigil in particular.
Sigil, start right at Sigil, be a plane traveler at first level.
Part of the Lady of Pain's entourage, court. She doesn't hold a court.
Oh, dude. And here's
anybody who tried to hold the court. Hey, we're going to hold Lady of Pain's court. Death.
I read a recent 5e Planescape module, came out a couple years ago, and they're using the hook that's so stupid. The representative of the Lady of Pain wants you to get this thing. No, she doesn't. No, she literally doesn't. You've not read the material. You're completely moronic.
If the Lady of Pain talks to you, it's because you're about to die. What?
Killraven just mentioned something. I actually like the Birthright setting the best, but my players never really.
It's an interesting setting.
I liked reading it, but I had several players that weren't too down with it. They didn't like the fact that they weren't really adventuring all the time. They were playing rulers. But so anyway, back to the question, Joe. Would you say, man, I hope Randy does his own thing?
Care to answer?
Oh, Max says, what about Planescape? I was making food. Oh, I was just saying, I was asking Joe that when he sits down at my table, was he hoping that I do my own setting or some particular setting? And I said, I know that if you, Max, were to sit down at my table, you would have your fingers crossed praying that it's Planescape and you start with the first level character in Sigil who's been through 47 planes and has a deep background.
At least 5 pages,
At least 5
typed,
pages.
double spaced, with a document protector.
Oh, shoot. Oh, so anyway, back to you, Joe. What and not just me.
My preference is I don't have one. I can roll with, I can roll with either. I think there are things I would like better, perhaps. Like if you said Dark Sun, I'd be like, "Oh, that sounds cool," because it's different.
Yeah.
But every setting that has the cool thing, like maybe Dark Sun has a set of constraints, because you're not going to be playing a typical wizard because of the way the world works, and you have to contend with psionics if you want to, or if you could modify it to have no psionics, it's just magic. You could do that.
It's kind of weird to me. Max seems a little confused. I think maybe I went too fast. It was
it's not a question mark. It's more like, maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he doesn't want to get into an argument.
Oh, I was just playing. I don't either. You can hate Planescape, fair enough. I don't want to argue.
You can be wrong.
Each their own, baby.
So I have my. I'm not arguing. I'm explaining why I'm right.
No, I don't. That's cool. Actually, one of these days I want to have a discussion with Max, because I hate to say it, he has swayed me some. There are definitely parts of Planescape I find distasteful, and a lot of it is the oh gosh, it's not humanistic, moral relativism that's all over the place.
Yeah, and you know me, I like clear motives. If people start acting a little hinky, I want to pull out my sword.
Yeah, because you're gonna.
If I'm a fighter, I like being just if I'm playing that kind of character.
Right.
I'm a fighter or paladin or whatever. I'm forthright. Say it like it is. If you start using kind of rubbery language, which politicians do, and political speak makes me want to ball up my fists.
Do you think homebrew turns more people off? If I said, you know me, but if another DM said, I'm going to do a homebrew setting, does it turn people off because they're like, especially experienced players, because they're like, oh, dude, what's he going to do here? Oh, what's Martinson saying?
Deadlands.
Oh, he has one brewing in his head. Hard time getting it to paper. Yep, that can be the challenge. True.
Yes, having ideas in your head and then making your hand print them out on paper or type them out. The translation can be hard, especially when you're thinking about it all the time, and then you get ready to write, and it's like nothing.
But if you were going
to, but if there are things that I would say yay. Few of the standard. I think Greyhawk. If you said we're going to run a Greyhawk setting, I would say that sounds cool because we haven't done one in a long time.
Right.
If you said, like I just said, if you said Dark Sun, I'm down with that. Yeah. If you had your own homebrew setting, and the idea was intriguing, sure. Yeah. So all that's good. It doesn't matter one way or the other.
Gotcha. But do you think
Forgotten Realms? I think I would be like, oh, okay, let's see how this goes.
Do you think people, though, in general, especially if the DM you're not so sure about, like Aaron's hitting it, Aaron Wilkerson, look at this. He says, I think homebrew might turn off random folks you meet at the game store, but if you're playing with friends, yeah, that's true. And so if you're playing with, even playing with a DM for the first time, does homebrew, let's take one of our guys. Let's say.
Oh, yeah. If it's a total unknown DM and he says, I got homebrew for you.
Yeah.
I would say, I would have to talk to the guy for a little while. But even then, sometimes it doesn't, things don't come across until you actually play at the table.
Right. Like what was that story about your guy that had doors? The doors in my world.
as if all the doors in his world were all super challenging just to open. I mean, I'm a baker in his world, and I wake up and I have to take 15 minutes just to get out of my bedroom in the morning. I mean, come on. So yeah, and maybe when he said the doors in my world are blah blah blah, maybe he didn't mean every single door, but it sure seemed like it. So
And so remember when you first told me you came in from the military and you were telling me, and I was like, that guy sounds nuts.
And he didn't say the doors in my world. He said my doors.
Like he owns them all.
I mean,
Oh, what about a system then, dude? So the settings stuff, I feel like we covered that pretty heavy. What about a new system? So we're about to go homebrew system or published. I've not played too many homebrew systems, though I've played a couple. Patrick's laid some out at Cabin Con. A couple people around here have tried to run their own.
New homebrew systems as a one-shot, fine. Contemplating one for a campaign is kind of a hard sell, depending on circumstances. Anybody in our friend group who says, hey, I want to start a campaign, I've got some homebrew rules I want to try out, you want to play? I'm probably going to say yes, because they're our friends. But some rando I don't know.
Oh, right.
Homebrew world, homebrew system, he'd have to give a little bit more than that. Like even with the campaign setting.
Yeah.
You say Forgotten Realms. You're not going to just say Forgotten Realms. You're going to say Forgotten Realms, blah, 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 blah. A bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
So, which will clue people in, even the people that you know, whether or not they want to run with it. So, same thing goes for system. If you're going to say homebrew, or you're going to say 5th edition or Earth Dawn, or anything, if you just say the system, if it's not a homebrew, then you're going to expect pretty much that system. But most people are going to say it's going to be 1st edition, but blah, 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 blah. So your extra stuff. And then the extra stuff will tell me whether or not I'm going to be interested. With the rando, with the friends, I'm willing to play whatever.
Yeah.
Let's just get together and play, and then we'll see how this goes.
This is interesting. Malachi says a homebrewed world. I'm thinking he's implying setting. He's implying system here. Should have a document of changes from the core assumptions for new players. Yeah, that's a good idea, especially if you're pulling brand new people in. Like, hey, I'm going to a 3rd edition D&D game set in the Forgotten Realms. But if you're going to change a whole bunch of crap, people coming in to play 3rd edition with experience, and they might be new to your table, but if they're used to playing 3rd edition, they're going to expect certain things. Oh, I don't do attacks of opportunity. Oh, I don't have save or suck spells. Oh, I don't do this, or this is the case. You can't multi-class. I don't care if that happens. Yeah. Oh, if
it's just one or two and they can just tell you verbally, that's one thing.
Right.
But if it's a whole host of things and they don't have it written down, that's not as good, because who's going to remember that stuff? Sorry, I talked over you. What were you saying?
No, it was cool. I was just, I noticed Malachi said I stole his thunder. I was trying to make sure he got his thunder. His comment was good. Maybe he's talking about what I said to Cal. So,
yeah, I'm not sure either.
Yeah, but when it comes to systems, I think I'm more inclined to want to play something already established. It doesn't have to be raw. Oh, what's Legion saying?
Homebrew was 80% of the games I played back in the day. As long as the DM is clear about the setting, I'm ready to do it. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, if it sounds good, I'm down for it. I'm not disinclined to play somebody's home system, rules system versus setting. Setting I could care less as long as it's fun. But a rules system, I really need it to be it needs to be something that I like. So I don't want to say, hey, I'm down for 6 months in this game in case it sucks.
Right. So I think committing to a game is not like committing to a job or a marriage. If you're in a couple of games and you're like, this isn't for me, it's not that hard to say, hey, dudes, this is not my kind of game. No offense to anybody, but I'm going to bow out.
Yeah.
And everyone should be fine. Because, I mean, that's how we interact as adults. We should be able to do that. And I think there is, we have a good group of guys. If it may not even come down to taste, or may not come down to what's happening in the game, it may be life.
Yeah,
hey, I got a new shift. I got a different shift at work now. I can't play at this time, so I got to step out. And so everybody has to be able to roll with life. So bowing out of a game for whatever reason shouldn't be like cause for fisticuffs or hot tempers or anything like that.
Yeah, I think too. Along with this, I think if you're playing something already set up, if you've got so we're going to play 5th edition D&D set in Ravenloft, you need to make sure you have any kind of character restrictions you want to have and have them laid out too. That is important.
I believe this. Shadow and Sun says, if you aren't homebrewing, you are missing out. That is good stuff. Homebrewing is really the first thing about role-playing games is the game itself, the system, the setting, and all that. But I think if you're going to imagine this in layers, like with a network layer, the next layer above that or below it is homebrewing.
It used to be I didn't know how a person could play without homebrewing, and I probably still don't. Oh, Helsinti. Homebrewing is why IDMs. Sure.
Why not? Yeah.
You get going, you're into something. I'm playing Planescape. Oh, this is cool. I'm like, wait a minute. Why has everybody got to be so like wishy-washy about the beliefs or so, ambivalent about truth and facts? You know what? 'Cause I told Joe, I have an idea. I'm going to run a Planescape game again, but I'm going to cut out a lot of that moral relativism.
Right.
I may have a couple of factions that do that, but everybody else is going to be hard-coded.
Yeah, it's one thing to have an exception. You have this one demon or devil, one infernal creature who's like, okay, I need to repent, and perhaps an adventure revolves around you rescuing this individual who's decided to do this and help them, or maybe a series of adventures. But that would be an exception. That's fine. But having such the gray being most everything and the extremes being the good or the bad is weird.
Yeah, and I don't really know that any game I've run, whether I planned it to be strictly by the book in the sense that I thought I'm going to follow canon, I never do. Yeah.
What do you think about this? Is playing from Helsinti again, or I don't know? Do you pronounce the final E? Anyway, is playing a published setting actually only ever succeeding at playing in a fetishized version of that setting? Like always having Dritz show up for Forgotten Realms. I understand what he's saying there.
Oh, I thought he was saying, maybe. I thought maybe he was trying to say that. And what I was leading to was no setting in game. Not only does the adventures don't survive contact with the players, but maybe the game itself doesn't survive contact with the dungeon master. I've never read a module and not wanted to change something.
Right. There's always something you're like, I don't like that.
And I've never written a module that didn't change at the table. I mean, last week, something changed immediately. And even because the way I had it planned, it just didn't happen. And so, right. Yeah. Oh. Well,
yeah. What are your choices, Shadow and Sun? What are your choices, really, raw or homebrewing? Well, sure, because if you're doing anything other than raw, you're homebrewing.
Yeah,
more or less. I want to get back up to here.
Yeah.
With Pat, back to more homebrewing rules.
Okay.
And there was some talk here about developing their own setting. And Pat says, I always get to the prototype of rule system or game and I get cold feet. What started as a great idea always becomes, this is crap. What the hell was I thinking? That may well be imposter syndrome, where you have something, you are excited about it, and then some nagging suspicion about yourself, and that happens to me too. You think that your system, it looked good yesterday, but now it's crap.
Oh, the two or three. Yeah, go ahead.
So it might be, but I wouldn't leave that up to just one person's eyeballs.
And Patrick's never brought a game to CavinCon that I didn't think was good.
Right.
He's brought games that felt like there were more work than maybe I wanted to get into it. But Patrick was very excited about all these cool settings. And it might be, because when I say that sounds dumb, because playing AD&D, what, Cal? Randy never gets to touch my module. Oh, I'm going to touch it.
Does he merely mean module, or is that a placeholder for something
Come on,
else?
Cal. You know you love me. No, but yeah, Patrick's got some really good. He's had 2 or 3 really good ideas. I think he gets. Sorry, Patrick. Sometimes, dude, you just take it to heart. Sometimes someone says something with a cup, and you think it's just a blast. That they're blasting you, and they're not.
You are your own worst critic, like many of us.
100%. I am too.
Got to back off.
Shadow Sun's got a good question. Has there ever been a perfect game played raw?
Who knows? Is there any such thing as perfect game?
I've never. Yeah, right. Well, every game I run.
Well, okay. Point taken. But yeah, I don't know that I've ever played in a game where the module was played precisely and all the rules and the rule system were played precisely. I can't say that I have because I don't know for sure.
I think Darth has got the right of how I would suggest people do it. Most of my games start off with a little short adventure to let the players get a good feel for the PC and see how things turn out. At some point, I'll pick the big bad evil guy. I don't focus on it. I wish I did that all the time. It definitely saves you a lot of time.
And then he says he lets the players focus on it, like the big bad evil guy, because we will look for one. We players will look for some evil to thwart.
I think you got the players are this is the best advice I've ever heard, and it's for me, and it absolutely works. Just listen to the players. I've had the players literally write the adventure for me as I'm playing. They go, "Oh, I think it's the barkeep. Do you hear what he said? What he said to the priest? Dude, he doesn't like them. I think he might be the evil guy that's up to something." I'm like, "Sure, it'll be the barkeep."
Right. It's a good strategy to not necessarily you don't want that maybe to do that in all cases. Like, let's say the players are trapped in a room and you know what the trap is, but maybe you're open to there being more than one way out.
I think that's the best way to do those.
So you still have the trap, and if they don't figure out the way you have it in mind or have an alternate that's just as good, they still get mushed by the trap.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yep.
Accuse the barkeep of being a bigot.
Cow.
That always brings out the best in people.
It does. Legion actually mentioned something that I'd like to know. Here's interesting. As far as systems go right now, Legion of Myth, I'm all about Year Zero engine, old school D&D, and Palladium. I like other systems, Earth Dawn, but I'm not interested in running or playing them at the time. Yeah, I've got my fingers in kind of 2 pies right now. Old school D&D, and then if I'm going to play, believe it or not, I kind of like playing 5e as a player. I don't necessarily like DMing it, but it's not my favorite. And then Savage Worlds. That's kind of where I'm always at. As a DM, Savage Worlds or some old schooly feeling game. Yeah.
I like old school feel, but I don't really care about the system specifically. And if it doesn't have Vancian casting, that makes me happy.
How can that make you happy, Joe? Vancian is awesome.
I think Vancian casting, I know there's a lot of people that will, the way they talk about Vancian casting is as if the low-level suck of the wizard and the high-level godlike powers, and the fact that you had to protect the wizard in order to get to there as a party was an intentional design. I don't think so. I think the classes were developed as from an archetypal standpoint. I don't know if the Vance books had many, the Dying Earth books, if they had many examples of low-level wizards and what they were like.
Don't know.
Maybe someone can clue me in. But I hazard a guess that that's not the way it worked in the Vance world. because most fantasy worlds, once a wizard is trained, they may not be as powerful as an older wizard, but they have more than one thing they can do. Generally speaking, unless you get really specific, like with a single spell, I think is what it was called, or Xanth. In Xanth, everybody that had magic had one thing they could do. But apart from that, most fantasy novels, wizards could do many things, even the young ones.
I'm kind of with Malachi. With Vancian, as a player, I'm fine with it. As a DM, I'm fine with it too, but it never feels right. Vancian's just kind of weird. But I can take it or leave it. Yeah, and Aaron Wilkerson says he likes roll to cast. I do too, but I've yet to see a system I really think is right on. DCC is not probably the one for me.
I like the concept, but in execution in their book, it makes for a very long book when you have a spell that might be half a paragraph in length of description, but then it has a page or two of tabular entries.
Yeah,
and it'd be one thing if they had a table, and then each spell had maybe a couple of things you switched out. I think that's probably a little bit better than a lot of the tables work, the way they work, because a lot of it is a little repetitious. Because of you roll a d20.
I think so, and add a modifier.
And then add modifiers, so you can have results in the 30s, sometimes 40s.
I think
so. The amount of different things can be very large.
Yeah.
So the effect of rolling a 1 on your casting die, where you probably get your soul sucked and down into hell, and your dried husk of a body becomes an undead vampire or something. That's a possibility. And then you roll extremely well in the 40s, and your spell has brought the entire planet to its knees under your subjugation. So it's way too broad.
Mr. David Giles on here, buddy. Welcome. We were talking about your Dungeons and Delvers. He says his D&D-ish game doesn't use pseudo-Vancian magic for anything. Dig that, Joe.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet.
Yeah,
I've been very busy.
Darth does have a good comment, and I do think this is something I really enjoy about current D&D, though I don't think it's limited to this. The low-level limits on the wizard make them more BA because they become very creative in spell use, and that's what makes them powerful. Darth Theic. I think now I don't know if it makes them more powerful, but I do miss the days. I liked when you had to be creative, and you guys were, dude. You guys made some amazing, and sometimes if it's good enough, I just say do it. I'm not too inclined to worry about the rules as written sometimes, most of the time.
Okay, low level as in 3rd or 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
When you have a few spells that you can be creative with, but when you just have 1 or 2,
mm-hmm.
I don't know that there's a whole lot of room for creativity. You just wait. You're just waiting for an opportune moment, because you can be very creative in that one instance of casting your spell, and then a couple of hours later in the session, you find out, well, maybe I shouldn't have done it then because of the circumstances. You cast it too early, or maybe you delay a little too long because you only have the one spell. It can be a little wonky that way.
Yeah.
But if you're talking D&D in, say, 2nd edition, well, when did Wizards start getting extra spells besides just the one? Was that 3rd?
I want to say that wasn't until 3rd.
Okay, so if we're talking old school, you only ever had one spell.
Yeah.
When did cantrips come in? They're not really spells anyway until
I want to say we didn't.
Either.
Yeah, we didn't see cantrips until second, I believe.
Right.
Man, Cal, look at him.
Magic doesn't make sense either.
That makes sense. I think we may have a Vancian fan.
But he does have a point.
Yeah.
Magic doesn't. There is not a one thing that you can say this is magic. It can be anything. So even if you say, even if it's Unearthed Arcana for 1st edition, okay, that's true.
Yeah,
that's
Malachi,
right. Now that you say that,
that's when that came in. Good call, Malachi. Thanks, bud.
Yeah. So since magic can mean anything, then even low-powered magic, like or the Vancian or pseudo-Vancian where you're super weak early and then super powerful at high level, that's just a conceit. That's not a hard and fast for any Magic system. It's just a conceit of that particular iteration of D&D.
Okay, so maybe we should try to squeeze back to a little bit of the topic here. Oh, what's Cal doing? I eat chocolate with weed.
Cantrip. Right. So, yes, let's get back to the topic. We got into the weeds of making things. So
we talked about setting and rules set. Then we got to gather the folks, right? So the real life things, parameters like how you're going to play. I guess these days you got to consider online versus face to face. No, we don't.
We don't because of our deep bench of good players.
And I love the fact. The next one, I love the fact that I've been mixing and matching a little bit at my table, so not completely on porpoise, but what's he doing?
Midichlorians. he says. Cal says, or is it? He left out a word. Yeah. Or is it the midichlorites or chlorians? The stupidity that they had in the second set of movies. I almost walked out on Star Wars when he said that. Yeah. It's like, what happened to magic? No, it's actually became more psionic. It really. Anyway,
what about all those in real life stuff? Gathering the players, choosing who you want to play, because we have to do that.
It can be a bit of a struggle, but not because we have a deep bench. It's just a little annoying sometimes.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, they don't have a lot of options. Our friend of the show over at Red Dice Diaries, John, he plays exclusively online because the small town he lives in, he doesn't have any players, and it's the UK. So there's a few people on Twitter who will say, "Oh, if you're playing online, you're doing it wrong." Blah, blah, blah. They're really opinionated about it, and I don't prefer it. So since we have so many people to choose from, it's usually never an issue. But he must play online.
And Taylor has all the young kids at home. He can only get online. Well, he probably starts playing at night late. Which I tell you, I'm finding out, dude. We played this past week. We started at 7:30, and I got tired quick, dude. I got tired at the end. So, yeah, Malachi's right there, though.
The prequels were better than the sequels.
Star Wars. So my age is affecting. It's not so much the length of session. I think I could still play 6 hours, maybe 8 hours if I had to, but I need to start earlier.
Yeah,
I'm playing currently on Thursday nights. I'm not sure how long that can go because, to be honest with you, I think when fall comes, I'm going to have to play on Saturdays again, and I want to play during the day.
Yeah,
so it's starting.
You're going to have to switch out people. Because most Saturdays, I'm not going to be able to start early.
I know that's what I'm worried about. I'm not sure what I can do because I don't want to have to lose you. I have to lose Martinson. Might even lose Larry. That's frustrating. Maybe I'll just have to learn to suck it up. Maybe get a really good night's sleep if I can Wednesday and be ready to really rock. I mean, or maybe we can just start playing. I don't know. Maybe just keep it up. I don't know.
And some people are bringing this up in the chat. So online play while. There are advantages because you can play with people all around the world.
Yep.
You do have to consider time zones. So, and you have to remember the implications of them. Because I was on somebody's podcast podcast, and I almost blew it because I didn't realize what their start time was Central, not Eastern.
Right.
So I was 3 hours off. It's nice that it was. 3 hours off, and it worked out that I had an extra 3 hours because I was running in the house. I was like, oh, I got to get upstairs and blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, I got 3 hours.
Dude, our man's going to be burning the candle at both ends. Says he's got a game with a player from Alaska and will be in one that has a player from Australia. Dude, more power to you, man. That sounds tough. Okay, but when it comes to campaign, what about that first session, dude?
first session is always kind of a tone setter.
Yeah.
Or it may just be the beginning of that tone setting. It could take 2 or 3 sessions to really get in a groove.
Right.
So first session, a lot of people are like, okay, first session, and then you know what you're doing. Maybe. It all depends.
Do you like everybody to know everybody? I'm going to try to streamline some of the other comments out there. Do we like everybody meets at a tavern and they know each other? Because I started with I made it where you guys knew each other, but you weren't super tight. Since you were third level, you've done some adventures together, but you've also gone your own ways, and you guys came back for the need of some cash. You guys were all poor, and so I was like, yeah, he's going to offer you some good money. And the guy that sent you on the quest, gave you a sweet little deal, right? You guys got a lot of good stuff from him. So
I think we can buy everything in the Players Handbook now,
which is an issue I have with kind of old school.
Yeah.
At least in OSE, you get a few hundred gold. You're the richest man in the universe. Why should I?
Maybe if you're going to let us buy, you go to the local retainer store and purchase retainers. They're going to be the ones eating up the cash.
There you go. Patrick says, Nemo, I prefer adventurers who know each other actually. Yeah, I do.
Pretending to not is kind of weird.
Well, you can not. To be fair, let you know a little. Not a secret. Let you know a little. I've done this successfully a couple times. There's been 2 situations where I think I've done it very successfully. In the 7 Spheres game, which you weren't there for the beginning, I had every player not know each other except 2. My wife and another guy's character were brother sister, and they were together. Other than that, nobody knew anybody, and I brought everybody together through their own storyline, and they met another character, and it was kind of funny. I won't go into the details, but it took a whole session, about 6-7 hours, to bring everybody together. But Aaron Wilkerson makes a good point. Not every first adventure needs to be an origin story. I agree, 100%. Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying it can be done, but it's a lot of work. I don't like it like you're all super, I think you can. We haven't done something like this in a long time. You guys are old childhood friends.
Mm-hmm.
And what that implies, and you've been together for a long time. I think it's fun. Oh, Malachi, this is a good one. I saw this happen at Gen Con. It was great. One character should know at least one other character. I've done this at the table. I've just like, Joe, look to your left. There's Larry. Tell me how you know him. And then Larry, look to your left. Tell me how you know Jen's character. Jen, look to your left. Tell me how you know Tim's character. I've done that before, and that's kind of.
I can answer that now.
How's that?
I can say. I woke up this morning and looked over and said, "Hey, Larry, what are you doing here?"
Good morning, Vietnam. Oh, this is good. This is the danger, Patrick says. Or everyone is a jackass who doesn't understand the whole meeting people thing. Yes. Yeah, it goes lone wolf. Yeah, the lone wolf characters we've had.
We've had that, but we haven't ran into it in a long time.
Yeah, well, we don't tend to do that. We do tend to start together. I thought the last session, that was good enough to where I think I left you guys enough room with the saying you've adventured a couple of times together before. Starting at 3rd level, it made sense. Cal makes a good point. Oh, sorry. He makes a great point. Don't. You have all met in the bar previously. Yeah.
Instead of meeting at the bar during the session, you met up at the bar a couple of days ago, and now you know what you're doing.
Patrick says I may have misread something. The other method goes only 2 ways. One, they clip over role playing and say you seem trustworthy. Let's go on an adventure. Or they all go jackass.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I think it's fine to let the players behave comfortably around each other.
Yes.
For one reason or another.
Yeah.
Especially, if you're one, I guess a good way to have players not know each other. And you can really do this at conventions when you probably don't and know each other personally. So it's a lot easier to pull that off. Hey, Bruce.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a lot easier to pull that off when you have people who don't know each other at the table. So then they can actually bring that maybe slight bit of distrust, little bit of awkwardness, and it can be a thing at the table without it, you having to act it out. Do.
I'm going first. No, I'm just kidding. You want to do Bruce's?
Yeah, that's because everybody wants to do Bruce.
That's true. He's very sexy.
Hey, Bruce. Actually, I hopped onto to his live stream last night and said hi. And he had some good words to say about us and the store. So I want to return the favor. Bruce says in Tolas, because Bruce always brings up Tolas.
Good setting.
They suggest first campaign, all the characters don't need to know one another right away. They start the game in line, then registering at the gate. Oh, in line to get into Tolas, registering at the gate and told to wait in the barracks. So yeah, so they have to say their intro to the gate guard instead of, and that's one good way of not having the lone wolf say, "You don't know anything about me. I have my hood pulled up. You can't even see my face." Yeah. But you have to make yourself known to the gate guard and give them and tell them what your business is. So then you can kind of, if you have anybody trying to do the lone wolf thing, that's a good solution to it.
Yeah, David Gall makes a good point too. He's every time I've played in a game where no one knows each other, it feels like a waste of time trying to wrangle the party together just to well play the game. Yeah, because everybody, that's a good point. A lot of players will take that very seriously, and I hate when they're like, "What's my motivation to join your group?" Well, you came to play D&D, didn't you? Why don't you find one yourself?
Yeah, I don't want to. Okay, so you could do that very lightly as a DM. Provide a little motivation, and then if the players at the table are still kind of reticent and demanding the other players perform in such a way that now they're convinced, then I would just say, why don't you? There's the door over there, and we'll see you later. Because if the DM says, "All right, this is what's going on. Some of you know each other, some of you don't. We have one guy over here with his hood pulled up and doesn't seem to want to talk. However," and then he presents in one way or the other, whether it's the bartender or maybe a barmaid, or maybe it's a local farmer walks by you when you're traveling, when you're walking around the market or something like that. Some kind of way the DM says, "Here it is, the thing for you to do." And then it could be save the princess. It could be, here's some money for you to go do something for me. Maybe one of the party members, their brother was murdered or kidnapped or something. There's all kinds of ways to really motivate a group of players in a very light manner, where you're not, pulling a rope around them and dragging them down the street. And then the players in turn can then engage and say, "Oh yeah, I know that guy and we need to get him." Or, "Oh, I met that princess and she's very nice. We need to go rescue her," and stuff like that. And then if by that time you still have somebody at the table who needs additional motivation, they're no good for your table.
Yeah, I think I like leaving the players some freedom to determine their own, relationships. But, I want everybody to not have to fight to get started. I also like having 3 orcs. It's not Friday yet. Sorry. It's only Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, we're not Max.
Welcome.
But thanks for coming by.
Yes, sir. Patrick lays it down pretty straight. This ain't Critical Role, dickheads. This is real D&D. This is D&D without the huge Hollywood budget and paid actors.
Right.
We're not acting at playing D&D. Didn't I say that? Oh my. Okay. What about
bigot?
What do people think? I'm interested to bounce this off the stream guys listening. You start at the dungeon entrance. I mean, old school. I'll get my second one. I got one last one, but yeah. What do you think of that? Because you're at the entrance to the Temple of Elemental Evil. You're at the moat house.
This is the starting point for the entire campaign.
Yeah, you just boom, you're there.
You're not talking about, well, we played a couple of times and now boom. No, this is the very first thing.
Right.
That could be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Again, with our crew, no problem. If you go to a game store or whatever, a convention game, and that's what happens, then maybe you're a little disappointed. or not. If you're at a convention, time is of the essence. You start at the door. That could be also the case for the game store. Time is of the essence. Cut the crap. We're at the dungeon entrance. And can also be an issue for regular campaign play. Maybe you have to slot a smaller amount of allotted time because of life. So you're facing the door of the dungeon. So I think we don't need to hold each other to the fire and demand motivation for the scene or demand a particular arcane combination of elements to get us to the adventure proper.
Mm-hmm.
If you do it, that's cool. You can learn about the world that way. But if a group decides they just want to roll up right next to, the yawning portal or whatever, and then you can introduce things about how you got together during play. So as the thief is picking the lock to get in, perhaps, or the wizard is maybe looking at the runes on the door to try to get it open, you can say, okay, on your way here, X happened. Maybe you get across the threshold, you have your first encounter, and when you're resting after the first encounter, you can say, hey, some other thing about what happened before, we talk about it now, and not necessarily having dice rolling about it, but a way to convey things about the world.
Calvin only says sometimes you need the flimsiest reason the players just need to go with it. You know what? I like players that do that. Now, to Joe's credit, he's one of those guys. He almost never fights me on, hey, let's get right to it. He's like, okay, fine. And he'll just accept it. It's funny. Oh, this is in Three Orcs makes a comment. It's a little bit of a side note, but I find it interesting. He's running an old school Essentials module this weekend at Maricopa Con in Phoenix, Arizona. I've been to Maricopa County, worked with some of the college folks there. All they run in Arizona is WotC 5e. Going to be hard not to say 5e is not D&D, and my event is the only D&D on schedule. Dude, get them, Three Orcs. They need to play OSE and get over it.
You need to learn them a few things.
Yep.
A couple of people have some 5th edition, what do you call it? Where they've taken 5th edition and maybe refitted it in an old school fashion. And none of the people come to mind who've done this, but they're out there. So if you want folks at your table and 5th edition is the carrot that they need, you can probably still dangle that 5th edition carrot. But then when they get there, you say, okay, it's 5th edition. We're using Professor DM's, what does he call it? A grimdark
mode?
Huh?
Hardcore mode?
Hardcore, something like that.
That's another dude's.
Oh, I thought he had his own thing.
He has his own thing, but there's also something called D&D Hardcore mode. I got the PDF.
So hardcore, there's grimdark and Deathbringer. That's what that is. So you can do that, and then maybe they're saying, oh, we really like this. 5th edition is one thing before we came to your table, but this is really good. Then you can say something like, well, if you like that, I've got something else for you over here.
Or it could be play a 3rd level dwarf.
Can you say bait and switch?
I think you can.
I think you can.
Rune Hammer. Thanks, Aaron. Yeah, Aaron Wilkerson said Hardcore Mode is a Rune Hammer book. Yeah, I've got it. I've got I think I have the actual book. But what about this, though? Last one. And this is, I would say it's relatively new to me. I'm not sure I've done it before. I mean, until the last, 3rd edition and beyond era. Starting a game in media res, where you start in the middle of the action. I've done it where, you're in the middle of a battle with 7 ogres. Joe, you've mark off 2 of your spells. I don't like that. I don't like taking your stuff from you, but I do like saying, just you're here. Here's your characters. Introduce them. Roll initiative. What?
Roll initiative. Yeah.
Roll initiative, and you guys are traveling and blah blah blah, and then you explain the story later, and you could even flashback and tell, oh, the reason you're here is because of this. And then later on, you can even I thought in 13th Age works really well for this, where you can have players remember things about what's happened in the past. So yeah, I kind of dig in media res. I wouldn't be opposed to starting that. If I was playing a slightly higher level campaign, I would absolutely do in media res. Oh, Victor Gorshev. What is he saying?
Yes, you guys talk about the guy confusing Venger for Varg yet while attacking BGE. Lol. Yes. So I barely caught that because there was so much. Okay, so we're minding our own business, like I said. Happy about Big Geek Emporium and sharing a couple of things on Twitter, and some, Karen, who I don't know what that person's deal is, stuck their nose in, said this is problematic. And then it was knives out. Everybody was like, rear. And then it was awesome to behold. Dog piled. I mean, this dude got it left and right. If it was an actual, in real life, like fight, he would just be a grease stain on the ground. Anyway.
Who is Varg?
A Varg is someone that keeps coming up in the conversation because people are scared that he's going to get on Big Geek Emporium and then it's going to become fascist somehow all of a sudden. So apparently he is an actual bigot who makes games that poke fun at black people, and he's a bit of an ethno-nationalist, I believe, as well.
Yep.
And so he's not well liked, and but I've said this, anybody can put their games on our site.
Mm-hmm.
If the Taliban wanted to put a game on our site, then I wouldn't care, as long as it was an actual game. I mean, if it was, like become the Taliban, the RPG, then maybe not. But if you put up a game or put up nerd related things, I'm fine with whoever you are. I don't care.
Dude,
but
he's a convicted murderer, Victor says.
Right. Well.
Yeah.
So, but he has games.
Mm-hmm.
If the game is legal to distribute, we will distribute.
Right.
We will. Yeah. I'm not going to get involved with what happens off the platform. That's not my business.
And you know what?
So,
if you don't like the dude, don't buy his stuff.
Right. But the thing is, he changed the goalposts. So at first it was, why do you have this pagan bigot? Then the Varg thing happened after that.
Right.
And then he called me a bigot at some point. So I don't know. At first he was complaining about the Red Room's sexual holocaust adventure.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a game. I think it's an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, and people probably get upset just because it says sexual holocaust.
Right.
Because it has sex and then a reference to Holocaust, which you can't say because, we want to leave Holocaust, the back burner. We don't want it out there talking about the word at all, right? So if you say Holocaust, you're likely a Jew hater, mostly.
Right.
So all of that's going on in this person's mind, likely. And so he was offended by the name of the book. Not that he had a review. It's not like he said, well, I bought your sexual Holocaust and I have some issues and these are what they are. No, it was just, it's offensive. It's clear he never bought it. He couldn't have because it's not on drive-through. It got taken down. They weren't even able to put it on drive-through. So there was no way he had it because he wasn't on my site. He didn't buy anything from me. So so he didn't buy it, doesn't have it. So he attacked Sexual Holocaust, Venger, and myself and a few other ones, but it was all lame. I ended up calling him the girly man.
Cal Vanoni says you can't trust anyone with a V in their name. I agree, Cal Vanoni.
So because his approach was so feminine, which is he basically called people names the whole time.
Right.
He was a girly man.
Yeah.
So whatever. So that was the situation. we talked a little bit about it earlier on, Victor, when we were having technical difficulties. I was having technical difficulties, which I was blaming on Randy, which is what we do here. That's what we do.
Might as well.
Yeah. Yes, just a troll. He didn't really have anything but names. I mean, he wasn't the classic troll that dropped a bomb and then never came back to say anything. But yeah, nothing of value to contribute. He called people Nazis, and because now calling someone Nazi doesn't mean anything, because there's no meaning behind the word. Bigot's the same way.
Nazi, bigot, fascist. Everybody just throws that around all over the place like they don't understand anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, when you're setting your campaign up, then Joe, and this may be getting to this could be a big topic. We'll see how far we go down this road. Do people in live stream folks, of course, I expect them to comment too. What do you think of the idea of a sandbox, the linear adventure? Is there something? Some people talk about a true sandbox versus a not true sandbox, whatever the case may be. The sandbox to me is where you set up tables and rumors and some random encounters.
According to Victor, apparently the Basic Experts channel, they also experience a lot of that.
Oh, it happens.
Does he blame it on other people? That's what I do. Not maliciously.
Yeah.
For MAGA. So yeah, linear versus sandbox. So yeah. Sandbox, a true sandbox, like people say, is nothing planned. Everything's random, and some people also say they will riff. The DM will allow the players to riff on each other, and then he will or she will follow that. The DM will play on what the players do, and we've said some of that here, but only you'll take a cue. You will say, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea," but not whole hog, like some people seem to say they run their sandbox. Other people will run their sandbox fairly randomly, but I also see a lot of people who they have a sandbox, but with some constraints.
Yes.
So you either start out with some randomness, and then the goal is to discover either through randomness or through maybe idea discovery. Maybe the players drop something, you're like, yeah, we'll run with that. And then you do that, and then you build around that.
Right.
And instead of it being all random all the time, no direction, wonky, who knows what's going to happen next? Not even the DM knows. Yeah. And to some degree, a little bit of surprise for me as a DM is nice. So having random encounters is where I kind of focus that on. Having random encounters, having random treasure, stuff like that, random events. But full-on sandbox where there's absolutely no direction, I don't really favor that too much.
No, me neither. I can't even. I think I would get too confused. I think we talked about in 13th Age where everybody rolls the relationship dice, and then you got to find some way for 1,000 things to get all together. What's Legion got for us?
Legion says Rolling Bones had technical difficulties last night. I'm starting to see conspiracy. YouTube is against us. Actually, Rolling Bones, can't remember whether he said it on stream or through some sort of message. I can't remember where it came from because I'm old. It's getting in the way of my memory. He said we should stop by some point.
I like Rolling Bones. Ryan Howard's pretty. Victor Gorshev says Rolling Bones is a good egg. I agree. Used to listen to his podcast a lot. I just got lost in the mix, and I don't know what happened to him, but he's a pretty good dude.
So yeah, and then linear can go in a similar vein where I really don't care for it, really, but like with many things with our group. If you had a module, because modules pretty much are linear, I would be down for it.
Yeah.
Because linear for us is basically I have a module, but I'm going to make it my own, so it's not necessarily as linear as presented.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as the DM is open to different directions, as long as it's not totally off the reservation, that should work out pretty good.
Yeah, I think Darth has a good point, and it's the opposite of my approach, but I like it. I think Darth Theek says, I think that a game should start out with a sandbox-like environment and end in a more railroad from what the players are choosing to do, which I think what he's saying is the players choose it, so it becomes the path they get on. It's the train they hop on. You don't make them hop on it. I do the opposite, Darth. I actually start out with an adventure in mind and put them on the path, and I'm at the point, and then I go like, if they veer off, the game changes.
Right.
I mean, if you guys decide to head off and go, screw Black River Valley, we're going somewhere else, looks like that's what's happening. That would suck.
Yeah.
I'm running that adventure in Black River Valley, but oh well.
Right. The thing is, if it's interesting enough, the players, unless they're being dickheads, aren't just going to walk straight off the reservation. So as long as you have something for them to do, they should be fine.
Lady 1.
Not.
Is it Lady?
F. Dude, you're going to have to help us out on pronunciation there.
I think it's Lady. Lady 1.
Lady. F Lady?
Oh, F Lady. Oh, maybe. Yeah. Okay. F Lady. I don't know.
Hey, I've been watching your vids all day, like a lot of what I've been hearing. What I'm hearing, been looking for some normal gaming stuff.
Yeah, we've been talking about that too. We want to do more game stuff. That's what we're blabbering about, campaigns wherever we can tonight. Okay. Lady. Okay. We're bad at that. Our pacing's not good. So yeah, I think both can work well. I don't think I think the term railroad not only gets overused, but I think it rarely happens. And what I mean is, yeah, it's kind of railroady, but dang it, we just sat down tonight and you knew we were going to do the Temple of Elemental Evil. Why are you trying to run off to Greyhawk?
Right. So I think these things can be considered, instead of a totality, they can be thought of as tools. Yes. Sandboxing is a tool. Linear is a tool. Railroad, they may be synonymous, kind of, but
for some people,
they're tools. So sandbox is good when you need it, and then linear and railroady stuff, when you need them, you use them.
Arnman says, I always did open world. There's a good phrase, open world. So it's not a video game. You can do what you want, but the adventures basically became linear in scope. The players, they attach onto stuff and they go, and that was kind of Darth's point.
Right. Yeah. When you walk into a building, there are rooms and doors and hallways. You don't walk through the walls. You don't jump through the ceiling or fall through the floor. There's a path you have to go.
Cal says, Flady 1, it's not too late to run. Actually, it is. Actually, Flady, I'm sorry, you've been captured.
Run. As long as now that you have your eyeballs on our live stream, you can no longer move.
Hurry. Tell them to do the things, Joe. It's a good time to pause.
Oh, crap. We haven't done that yet.
Yeah, get them. Get them quick. Hurry. Then they can't flee. Stay loose, Flady. Ah, we got them.
We made it. We made it. Subscribe. You can subscribe, hit the bell notification, thumbs up, do all those things. Please help out the show. Help the algorithm, help us help you. By you doing those things, we can do more of what we do, and we can be in your eyeballs and ear holes more. That sounds creepy.
Balls and ear holes.
Yes. Also, if you're new to the show, I don't know if F Lady, Flady
1.
I
like the flow of that. Flady 1.
If you're new enough, you don't know about Big Geek Emporium, it is a new place for you to go buy game-related stuff that we run, or I run. Randy cheers me on the sidelines. So help us out by going there. Help us out by subscribing. Let me see something here. I have Big Geek Emporium up. Oh, I don't have that part.
Show me stuff, man. Are you finding it? Sweet BGE.
I'm going to head over to the back end
Where's that at? Never seen that.
Yeah, you can't go there. I'm gonna look at our totals. Where are you at?
Thanks, Max. Hit that like button. Yeah, Flady's doing the right thing. They're going back and watching the old episodes, watch VentureCon and Terra Ask Vid and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, we have now 33. 33 is the magic number. 33 products up in the store.
Yeah.
Someone had put up a couple of products earlier, just like an hour or two before the show, and one of them wasn't complete. And I was like, oh, I don't have time to give you heads up, but they had their own heads up. Good deal. All right, so we got 33 products. We have, let's see how many vendors we have on here now. We have 53 signups. All right, and 20 vendors.
Nice.
So lots of goodness there. Let's see how we're doing on this side of the fence. Let's see here. Well, we popped up to 309 on the subscribers.
Cool.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
This is the thing that 13th Age literally says in their rule book, Aaron. Aaron Wilkerson says, I asked my players to let me know what they plan on doing next adventure at the end of each session so I can prepare the adventure, but there's still choice. That's not a bad way to go, especially if you're at a crossroads and the player's like, and they got a couple of choices. Say, what's your plan? So I'm not, if you're not doing like Randy and building 10 times more than he needs. All right, Victor.
So yes, 6 sales for Victor. Very great. I am one of them, and we had some technical issues there. Also, some of my fault, some other folks' fault, and I ended up buying modernity. I'm blanking on the name.
It's okay.
Something modernity. Simple. Was it simple modernity? Anyway,
yes,
I bought that so I could test out some of the features, and it helped me figure out some of the customers' problems. So it was $3-4 well spent.
Yeah.
Simple modernity, yes. Simple modernity, yes. And it came to my mind as soon as I looked at your post there. So yeah. Oh, it's a pun on Basic Fantasy.
Oh, okay.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, nice.
Right, and
old. Thanks, Victor. Appreciate the help.
So Venger Satanis has at least one product up, and okay. It's a free product. It's a Chalt thing, Chalt character sheet or something, and what was I going to say? Like 5 or 6 people downloaded it as soon as you put it up.
Nice.
So it's nice seeing folks getting their wares sold. I was worried when we first started this that it'd be ghost town, and
right.
The three or four people were like, "Yeah, we're gonna put your stuff up as soon as you open up," and then they do, and then nobody buys it.
Well, I'll be starting. I'm starting school next week. Well, no students for 2 weeks, but then I'm going to be finding out my D&D players, and I'm going to be encouraging them because young players love their PDFs and stuff. So I'll find out who's doing that at my school, and I'll try to push them toward big Geek Emporium instead of the competition that is way more competitive.
Yeah, I am really pushing the got some more Saley sales. I'm really pushing the alternative instead of calling it a competitor.
Correct. An alternative that's better.
If we can get close to numbers that are like when we're saying thousands, then I will be more inclined to say competition. But we are still sub 100 on any metric at all. All right, POD. I'm a pod person, so print on demand. I have been able to successfully ping the print on demand system and place a fake order in their sandbox environment where you can test out your code. So I have several steps left to do, and I actually made a list of them and put them up on the Gilded, my Gilded server for the store. Let's see. Let me grab a whole. Oops. Yeah. So I need to make a vendor interface so that they can put their own stuff in. It doesn't do anybody any good if I'm the only one who can. So I have to make an interface from scratch, pretty much. So it's going to take some time. An interface for users when they are, it won't be totally from scratch. I have to make some kind of way for once the vendor has created or posted to Lulu, because that's who's doing this in the background. Once they've posted to Lulu, they have a product. They'll have to buy the first one, have it sent to them, and essentially it's like an approval process. You know, once Lulu makes a print order, or a print job is what they call it, a print job, you have to at least order one before we can put it up on the site. Because that's how it's not my requirement. It's Lulu. When you make the print order for the very first time, you have to buy one. So, and they're cheap. I was telling my wife, you can do a black and white paperback, and it would be with shipping in the United States, it would be under $10. It'd be more like $7. You can be as little as $7 depending on page count. So it's not that expensive for someone to test out their book. And then once that happens, we put it up as a sale item. So that has to be done as well. That's more programming so that the vendor can place it in a for sale product, and that works. And then when the buyer clicks the button and hits the sale, that all works. So it's going to be a lot of testing.
So, so we kind of talked about this, but I want to, I feel like I'm kind of done. I don't know about you with the campaign thing, but I wanted to take a moment and I guess I'm going to have to just ask the people that are commenting on the stream. You know that I'm working on an adventure, and I want it to lead toward a campaign setting. I wonder, the people here, for an adventure, do you think an OSR or an OSR adjacent or a D&D version X campaign, what's more useful to people, especially here? Or do I just do because right now I'm thinking of kind of an OSE basis, but I'm going to veer off into Mudsword land, so it may have a few new rules eventually.
So Mudsword meaning homebrew, essentially.
Right. So I just wonder, to make it, I mean, I'm not just trying to make sales, and I'm not going to even, if someone says, I wish you'd make a 4th edition game, I'll be like, yeah, sorry, dude, I'm not doing it. And some of it I won't do, 5e, I'm not going to make it 5e, but I do wonder, is there, I wonder if there is a edition of D&D that people would find more interesting, more applicable broadly. I mean, is going back to its roots the good idea? What do you think, Joe? Do you think OSE is a good place to begin?
I waffle a lot on that. Sometimes new rules sound cool, and then you write them down and you're like, oh, that's just a little variant of this other dude's rules that you may have heard, and now you think you've done something new. Or it's just, we're in kind of a rules zeitgeist where lots of people talk about lots of different kinds of rules that they've seen either in a print product or talked about with other people. So it kind of congeals in here, and then you write it down, or you hear somebody, like you could say, hey, I'm going to do this rule set with a couple of modifications, and here's what they are. What do you think? And then it can sound good, but until you play it, then you don't know. And then even if you do play it, and let's say you make some a subset of rules, or you make modifications to the rules, and we all like it, you might put it together as a product, put it out, and nobody likes it but us. So Bruce. Just write it.
Okay.
You know, just write a 5-star product you would never not introduce people to. He loves Rapanathuk and Slumbering Czar. Some others are not into big dungeons. Write what you love. So just and then you're not going to have the perfect product likely.
Correct.
To start off.
No way.
Right. So
I think that's a good.
So write something. If you get some good criticism, then you can let that.
That's what I'm hoping.
Hone your craft. I want to answer a question.
Sure.
Let's see, where is it at? Here we go. Patrick asks, "What about illustration? Is that just text price?" So, there's illustration, basic illustrations, and premium illustrations, and then that alters the price too. So, if you have full-on color, full-on illustration, hardback, it can be a little expensive, but I think the highest priced print product from them is still under $20. So you can probably still introduce enough markup to make it worth someone ordering a hardback. I mean, these days hardbacks are $50, $60 to start out.
Yeah.
So if you can get $50 for a hardback, and you only have to pay Lulu 20 of that, you're making $30 a pop, minus a Big Geek Emporium's cut, and you can sell multiples of those. I think you're still going to come out pretty good.
Yeah.
Margins for a lot of products are in the single-digit percentages, and I think we're going to offer a much higher margin here, especially since you don't have any machinery to cut into that. So yes, what were we talking about? I just wanted to.
That's cool. No, it seems like Big Geek Emporium it's an important topic right now. We're fighting hard to make this happen. I'm fine if that interrupts. Folks want to ask questions about that. That's okay. Does not hurt my feelings one bit.
I'm going to at some point put up some information on the website, so it's not just me telling you. It's straight from the Lulu's lips. So.
Okay.
Well, what were we talking about? I totally lost.
I was just I was polling the group about
what you want to write, you want to write.
And I think Bruce is right. I think I got to be careful because I'm pulling a little bit. What'd you call that? You said, Patrick?
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, and I know. I mean, I've written ran adventures for 40 years. I can write one. Whether it'll read well, that I'll need help with. Luckily, I have a young man that's got a degree in English, and Joe's a pretty good reader and writer, so I can bounce it off them. We got a few other people in our group that read and can write pretty well. So if it doesn't come off too well the first run through, I'll pass it through my editors, and we'll see how it goes.
Right.
I really think that, yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I commented. Played E1, I got into gaming late, so for D&D 3 and 3.5 are what work for my brain, but I have a bad habit of using any system my players like and cutting in a homebrew story into that. Yeah. And Aaron,
if you don't have to have a hard stance on system.
Yeah, and Aaron,
really don't.
If it's a good adventure, you can make it work with any rules.
I'm a firm believer.
I agree. Yeah. Well, I think that's about all I want to say about. You got other things you want to comment on the campaign starting? I feel like we kind of hit all the things.
I think so. I think that's good.
Do we want to do segment 3? I'm kind of looking at it. I'm not sure how great that one is. You want to?
Yeah. How about we cut that and make it a little more clear?
Yeah.
If you really want to do that, let's work on that.
Because I don't think I'm satisfied with how I set that up. We're talking about the behind the scenes working of this massive podcast endeavor. The outline's a little crummy.
Oh, no. The next one I have on my outline is evaluating an RPG. What do you look for?
Yeah, I was thinking of holding off on that one.
Yeah.
We'll bring that back. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Are we transitioning?
I think we are.
Not from being men. So
no. Do that again. Hit the light.
Yes.
Subscribe.
Subscribe, bell notifications, bring your friends, family, kidnap people, make them watch it, hold open their eyeballs, just like Clockwork Orange.
Open.
Yes.
There you go. Sweet man on his eyeballs part.
Bring in the peoples.
Yes. Yes.
I also want to mention you can help out the show and the site by engaging in both.
Yep.
You don't have to buy anything if you don't have extra funds for that. You don't have to contribute any funds to Biggest Geekest to help us in our podcasting and YouTubing endeavors. What you can do is like, subscribe, and obey, like Mar Hockman.
Listen to him.
Advice. You can go to any social media and share out our podcast, our YouTube channel, Big Geek Emporium. You can just join up, subscribe, or just join up to Big Geek Emporium. And if you don't see something right away, then don't worry about it. You could also contribute if you write your own stuff. Yeah, there's lots out there. At some point, I want to add in an artist finder, perhaps, or a editor finder, some way of people talking about the needs of their projects, and people raising their hands and saying, "Yeah, I'll help you with that."
Yeah.
For a cut, most likely, but I'll help you with that if I can do that. That would be nice. Anyway, go over to Big Geek Emporium, join up. If you can't pay for anything or don't like anything there, at least share it around the socials.
Yeah, and let us know what you might want to see and where we could maybe go down a path to pull people toward us.
And there is a contact form you can get at the very bottom of the website if you have any questions or concerns. People are using it, which is nice. Before, when we asked for folks to send us their questions or comments, you didn't hear much. But for the store, it's I'm getting a few, mainly because there's technical difficulties here and there, and people, when they try to download something and it doesn't download, it's an issue.
Okay.
So yes, you can support us in lots of different ways. We'd appreciate your support.
So let's go into random geekitude. Our boy Silent Josh, which threw this to me earlier this week, and I've seen this before. The D&D campaign case. They have a couple of these, I think, coming out. They're offering a usable. This is Wizard of the Coast is offering a reusable clings. I guess that's the clingy stickers and weighted chips in place of pricey D&D minis. I didn't quite catch the price for this box. Did you? Did you see it in there?
No, but mainly that's because I didn't look at it.
Oh, well, like here's the box.
And that's not because I'm like Wizards of the Coast hater, but it's mostly because I've been busy, and I apologize for that.
Fair enough. So they offer this case, and you get these heavy little tokens, and you get to put the different colored figures onto it.
What kind of clings does it say? If they're like they're not sticky, are they? Hopefully they're more staticky.
Plastic clings, probably like color forms. Yeah. There should be a link to that, Cal. Joe should have that probably there'll be a link to that.
There will be a link in a description and the show notes later on. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really into this. I have so many miniatures. In fact, this week, one of our buddies just made a stupid deal for some minis. I bought like almost 200 minis for a super cheap.
Oh, the guy who said he had his whole lot for sale.
Yeah, and it was ridiculously priced. I
didn't look. It was out of my price range anyway.
Yeah, but it was really nice. Anyway, this is cool. I think for us, if it's cheaper, if it does end up being cheaper, it's probably pretty cool. There's a picture. Can folks see that? You think, Joe? Is that big enough? Yeah, I did. You're welcome. You're welcome.
What's that?
Something a little surprise I sent him.
Oh.
Yeah, I sent him a little surprise. So, yeah. I
thought it was something I missed while we were talking.
No, it was just a little sweet trinket to my Brucey. But I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing that they're doing it. But honestly,
It would depend on price.
yeah, and it would depend on price. And honestly, right now, I have a boatload of D&D minis. Just not into this. They look okay, but nah, I would pass on this. I don't know about you. You said it depends on the price. You might be down with this for the right price.
Well, I don't know if I'd buy it. Well, this is Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah.
I could recommend it if it's a decent price. Was it
65 bones?
okay? For what was pictured,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily a bad price, but I think it's a little high. I think what you're paying for mostly with that $65 is the case.
Yeah, Martinson says $62.53 on Amazon. Hey, dude, yeah, whatever you like, man. Do your thing. But I got so many minis. That's where Randy's done. I've got so much. I could never justify that purchase. So,
right.
But
got enough. I've got enough that I don't think so either. $65. It would be. I think they could have offered that much cheaper. In have a Ziploc bag option.
yes,
That would be more like $20.
right.
But just having the one option in the nice box for $65, I don't need the box.
Am I to assume you didn't read the next article either?
I didn't look at any of them. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, let's do something kind of crazy here. I'm feeling wild and crazy. Because I didn't read it either.
Did Martinson send that to you too?
Yes, he did. He's so good at that. AI.
Oh, I think that might also be why. I think I've seen this article.
Yeah.
And that.
I watched the video. I think if your tabletop gym is too strict, first of all, if your tabletop gym is too strict, you're a wuss bag. I mean,
what is too strict?
Get out of it. You're going to leave because he's too strict. He wouldn't let me play my Thrycreen Ranger.
Right.
In the Forgotten Realms. Max would appreciate that. Consider how many times, I'm reading it. Consider how many times your gym has looked at you with pure disdain as you suggest the wildest and most bodacious moves imaginable during your TTRPG campaign. Now imagine, instead of shooting you a murderous glare and exclaiming, "No, you can't do that. It's not canon in this world," your GM just went with it. Well, then you're playing the game wrong. Right, Max? I mean,
I don't know if he's here yet.
If it's not canon, don't allow it. What's this? Tim, Caffeinated Grognard. Hey, what's up? My players balked at learning another system, so 5e it is. It's grim and perilous, though. Slow healing, milestone, and they love it. Yeah, and drop all the rests.
So you're strict, and they stuck with you.
Yeah, they did. Look at that.
They didn't replace you with a computer program.
Yeah, but this statement alone kind of blows me away. You get this great imaginative idea. Just because you can think of it doesn't mean it makes any sense.
Right. I didn't watch the video, but Ginny D apparently has a video where oh, hey, you don't like your DM or can't find a group? Hey, just do this solo thing. I'm like,
how about if you can't find a group and don't like any GM you ever have, maybe it's you. Max says, bam. Yes, it's okay to tell people they play wrong. In this case, 100% agree.
Yeah.
So, let's move on a little bit further. I think it might be the rest of it be a commercial. And, of course, they got the massive video stuff, match your story, whatever that is.
So is the AI, is it like a phone app or is it a PC app? Is there video? Do we know?
It says there's a video there. I don't know if you can play that, though.
Okay. Free to play online on Steam.
Windows boot CD in its drive. Hold on. AI generator. Yeah, free to play on Steam. Whatever. I guess if you want to have a GM that's a computer, that's fine. But,
apparently it shows it has an AI. It looks like it from this paragraph here. The paragraph reads, "This is the kind of chaotic MacGyver-esque joy that can be had playing AI Dungeon, an AI campaign generator that's very close to my heart, and free to play on Steam, online and on Steam, so you can play it in a browser."
Gotcha.
There are paid versions too, which involve smarter AI models that can retain more information at once and use a hell of a lot of GPU power behind the scenes. But I found the free version to be just as captivating.
Yeah.
So it'd be one, I don't know.
Yeah. But I guess if you want to play solo,
the only way I can really say one way or the other whether this is worth doing is by trying it out, which I have not.
Well, if you're upset that their GM won't let you bring the chaos, sure, your GM won't let you completely screw the whole game. What a jerk.
Chaos.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. Maybe it's time to get okay. So yeah, this is a hey, your DM sucks. Use my AI DM instead.
It's the kind of game.
It's essentially what this is saying.
It's the kind of game where the GM won't make you roll with disadvantage for being stupid. No, I would just kill you for being stupid. So, yeah, I agree. This is ridiculous. I mean, look, if you enjoy it, do it. But I'm not remotely interested in that. So.
Oh, sure, it's a lot less accurate in that there are no stats being kept track of. So what is the DM doing? But it's the kind of game where the GM won't make you roll with disadvantage for being stupid, like you just read, or kill off your character for even suggesting that your character posts a pic of the city under siege to Instagram.
Who does that? That's bizarro.
Okay, I'm going to give my suggestion of never ever looking at this. It's not worth it.
Yeah, this is beyond stupid. This guy, I think this guy, you know what he's appealing to? I think he's appealing to players that are jerks.
Or ninnies, or
yeah, or
haven't grown up, they're children.
Yeah, there's I want to play not the Thri-Kreen Ranger, but I want to play a Warforged assassin in the Dark Sun universe. Or I want to play a Tiefling wizard in your homebrew humans only world. What part of homebrew humans only did you not pick up on?
Right.
Well, those kind of players, no interest. Now, this next article is not as much to read because things have changed quite a bit. Yeah, Malachi, I agree. This is for a-hole players. Yep, exactly. Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, jeez. Patrick, that's hardcore, dude. I ain't putting that up there. It scares me.
If you want to find out what it says, here we go. If you want to know what Patrick said that we're not going to post up here, you can visit you on the audio. You can visit our YouTube channel, youtube.com/C/biggest and find this episode 101 about the 2 hour and 12 mark in, and you can find out the lovely message we received from Patrick. So yes.
I'll give you Legions. Legion says divine cereal.
Cornflakes.
Yeah, cornflakes. Cold-blooded Patrick. All right, dude.
Yeah. Go out and meet people, you weirdos. Take a shower, brush your teeth, right. Go out and meet people, make friends. This kind of crap isn't necessary.
This game is meant for friends, dude.
Okay. Let's say let's try to figure out how this product could be made and presented in a way that's useful. Okay. And I think it's possible. I wouldn't bill it as an AI DM because, GPU power, that just means they're focusing on the graphical presentation, not the technical know-how that a DM would bring.
Right.
So I would have fired their technical director, and we would get them on the right path.
Yes.
Perhaps, on second thought, maybe there's no reason to ever have something like this.
I mean, look, if someone wants to
play a video game.
Yeah, play a video game, and maybe they can make a really uber AI that does cool stuff and feels really close to a table. I mean, hell, maybe one day, maybe they'll be better than the DM at the table, but I can't imagine it.
Maybe they could do this for a DM who wants to have an AI representation of an NPC. So let's say you don't want to do voices, but you think it would be cool to have a screen up, and you say, okay, you meet this NPC, click, and the NPC presents themselves, says a few things, and can, in an AI sort of way, even answer questions.
Yeah.
So that might be something you could do.
Yeah.
But being a DM, no.
Replacement. So this next article is, of course, coming back to DC. I apologize, guys. You know, I have this secret belief or hope, and it's not a belief; it's a secret hope, dude. You want?
Hold on a second.
Okay, don't go too far.
I keep hearing this reference: touch grass.
What is that?
Is that a reference to going outside and not being in front of your computer all the time? Because I hear people say that online, and I haven't gotten the context of it yet because, old dude. So
Mar Hawkman's on it here, dude. Terminator, the TTRPG with Skynet as the DM. That's good, dude.
That could work. It would be that would be a killer DM.
Yeah. Legitimately, you only die once though. Oh.
Okay, so I'm right. So it's just telling people to get outside.
Yeah. All right, so let Randy jump on his DC bandwagon. I bet you guys are tired of hearing this. I'm tired of talking about it, and my hopes are kind of dashed, even though I was hopeful this last time.
DC.
Is DC still willing to release the Flash movie? We don't need to read that because apparently they are. I've been listening to several.
I thought they weren't.
Yeah, they're going back and forth, so it sounds like it's still on the table. This Ezra Miller guy, if you won't get rid of this because of him, you won't get rid of it except for, I think Zaslav is like, he sees dollar signs. Something about it is he's holding him in. Ezra Miller apparently apologized, saying he had some mental health issues. I'm like, who cares? You're literally, who cares? And what I mean by that is, it doesn't excuse you. I do care if you're having mental issues.
Yeah, he should get treatment.
You should get treatment, and you need help. But come on. And
anybody else who went around criminal activity, they'd be in jail already.
Correct. And that's what Hill versus Babyface said. If it had been me or you, we'd have been done. This guy, I wonder, and someone said this on one of the channels, they think Ezra Miller may have some dirt on some people. So I don't know.
He's famous to a degree, but he's not like A-list actor famous.
Look.
So I don't know. A-list actors, politicians, especially federal politicians, they can get away with all kinds of mess, and you just hear about it, and then 5 years later, they're back in the limelight. Nobody cares, and all that. But
Bruce don't put it up. Bruce is telling the Patrick to hold his beer. So, but Martinson, Randy, the movie is still on. The TV show was canceled. They're not going to have the shortened season then, Martinson. But I just find
is the movie on to be made or released? Have they already made the movie?
I heard they're almost $200 million into it. They can't reshooting. Granted, that's double at best. It's double Batgirl. But who cares? If you're going to be bold, be bold. But I understand that it's probably the movie might be good. That's the truth of it. It might be. I didn't know the dude in Justice League, and I thought he was okay. I thought he was a decent Flash. And when they did the Snyder version of Justice League, it was even better. So apparently the TV show's got a shortened season. I don't know. That just made me think, okay, he's not okay. He's honest. Zaslav is about the money. He thinks he can make the money with this movie, and maybe he can. And he has said before, the Flash movie being Flashpoint, which is the time thing, could reset the DC universe for him to get a new ball rolling.
That may be the other reason, but
I don't know. I think you're foolish. I think I'm foolish, even though I'm holding about this much hope somewhere secretly in my heart that my heroes will come back and I'll get to read. I really want to read the comics, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Made the movie. The TV show has a shortened version.
Yeah.
So they've made the movie. He's willing to throw away Batgirl's $70 or $90 million, but not another $200 million Flash movie. He's not willing to do both, probably. Yeah, he was a rising star until he started being a butthead.
Yeah.
I mean, criminal. He was, full on criminal.
Yeah, Malachi says
Psycho.
it's too much money, which is at the most I've heard for Batgirl loss is 100 mil. And if you double that, he said there's too much money was spent. Yeah, maybe you're reaching the point where look, dude, we got to try to recoup some of it. What the heck?
All right. We gotta hold on. Keep talking.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
But so guys, I'm sorry to keep coming back on this, but it's a serious thing that you guys know I love comics. Joe's not the biggest comic guy, but we're getting pounded with this crap. Anyway, I'll try not to. I'm not going to say anything. I'll probably keep yelling at them. So if you guys want to tune out when I'm giving the DC destruction comments, because I can't let it go. Because the DC I love. Marvel can burn and be done. DC could burn too, but I'd like to see it come back. So
You're supposed to go away now.
Yeah. Oh, is it something you can do to make? We're getting these adult porn bot stuff. So anyway.
Let's see, I hid the user. Are they going away? Yeah, they're going away. They're going away. No, they're not.
I will, Malachi. He says, just be patient with the comics. I think Cartoon Network is next with the house clearing. I hope it's right. I hope you're right, dude. And maybe it's just he's got so much money sunk in. This is going to be a movie, the last of the idiocy. And who knows? Again, the movie might be good. That's the truth of it. I think Patrick and Bruce brought him down. Green Apple says something. Rejoice, the porn bot showed up. Serial people.
Well, I went on to our page and deleted and got the messages deleted. So I don't know. Let's see. Let me scroll back up. Yeah, they're still visible if I scroll up here in StreamYard, but on the YouTube side they're gone. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'm not looking forward to watching any DC or Marvel movie. So this is a less concerned, though. I don't see why they haven't just dissolved all ties after his psychotic. I mean, go fix yourself, pay restitution, whatever you need to do to make it right with all those people he wronged. At least he didn't. Did he physically harm anybody or hurt to any degree?
I think he helped people against their will.
Right, but okay, did he cause any permanent damage? Kill anybody?
He hit a woman at a bar with something like last year. Threw something at her or knocked her down.
Yeah, oh, that's right. So he needs to go to jail.
Here's the deal. They could tell the movie. I'm not saying don't put it. Look, I don't blame them. If they whatever. He's an idiot.
Yeah, he's a minority that he voluntarily joined, right? Because he calls himself fluid or
whatever. He's whatever stupid. But I think I was just hoping Zaslav would come in and just hammer it all, but I guess that's too much to hope for. Yeah, Green Apple, I understand. People are tired of the Cape garbage. I'm not. I just want to see DC done well. If
it's done well, then we won't get tired of it. And if they don't follow the same dang pattern for everything that Iron Man laid down, the initial run of 2 or 3 movies, they just said, we're going to just keep doing this and slap on a different coat of paint. That's why I got tired of it.
Originally, I was under the assumption, and they wanted to make DC a little darker, and I thought they were going to, but it was so disappointing. Anyway, so yeah. Oh well, we'll see. I don't think I can watch that movie, but I mean, I guess if it comes on HBO.
I'm not telling people not to.
No. I'm angry at them. But if that movie were to come on HBO Max, I might pull a Batman and watch it again. Even though last week I was mad, but probably not. I wish they would just start over.
Right. Yeah. Well, okay. I think best case scenario. The ultimate good that could happen is DC tanks.
Yeah.
Somebody else buys it who cares about the IP, and then focuses on the comics, and
Yeah.
then gets the comics straightened out.
Right.
And then once the comics are straightened out, then you get some better movies out there. Because once the comics have been rejiggered and maybe have the fan base that they once had that actually likes the characters, not likes a superficial version of the character that represents their reality, which is dumb. But if they like the characters as presented in the comic books, you have an actual true fan base. Then you can do, maybe you don't have the giant special effects budgets that they have these days.
Yeah.
But I think they can do practical effects superhero movies, and they should be fine. I mean, Batman, Michael Keaton's Batman was almost all practical effects, right?
Yep.
Very well, and the little bit of CG, and it was awful. But Joker falling, that was a very bad bit of CG. But
here's what I want to see. Here, this will be Randy's dream come true. So they release. I guess they're going to release Flashpoint. Yeah, true. DC. Were you saying that? Go put Flighty one up. DC dropped the comics from their name, so I think they don't really. Yeah, I agree.
They haven't cared about the comics in a long time. Really.
Yeah, if Randy had his dream come true, they would shut down DC Comics for a year or more. Get good people on there. I would like to see them reboot #1 issues for all their main heroes, and I mean 3, 4, 5 people initially. And even and if people don't like this, I'd like to see a slight reimagining of the origin story, and really give it a title that separates it from. So the old stuff ended, and just start it over, and really tell the stories. I like to keep them. I'm not sure. I'm working on my thoughts on this. I want them to keep the main gist of the origins the same, but start over. I mean, literally tell where Kal-El comes to the planet Earth. Make him a baby. And what if you really took time to tell, with short time lapses, the heroes growing, and literally tell some of the background stories. And then once you've kind of told that, add in some cool stories in between when Bruce is 15 to 18. Okay, something that happens. I don't mean all the years. And then stop, post-training, full-fledged heroes, jump ahead in time, start now. And this is what's happening. That wouldn't be horrible. You would not make me angry, Malachi, if Jim Lee did the art. But I don't know if he's doing much art anymore. He's got some his Batman run. Woo! Boy, this stuff is good.
I wonder if you could get other old dude.
Chuck Dixon.
Chuck Dixon.
Oh, that would be great to write all the stories. Yeah. I don't know if Doug Minch is alive anymore. He was great. Oh,
there's a lot of good artists out there that aren't one of the blue-haired idiots.
Yeah, I've been supporting Graham Nolan. He's the one doing the Two-Fisted Manly Tales that's coming out soon. And he was an old Batman guy. Yeah, he'd be boss. Yeah. But anyway, I guess enough of that. So you ready to shut this down, baby? Move in some plug time?
Yes, let's plug again.
You like
Hey, oh, yeah. Let's not say that ever again.
What?
Let's plug. Let's plug again like we did last summer. No, we don't do that. Subscribe is what we say. So subscribe, like, share, help a brother out. Get the word out for us, or help us.
Yeah.
We're only 2 guys here, and only one of us actually is even slightly active on social media.
Yeah, come on, Joe, get with it. Legion of Myth. After you're done watching, liking, subscribing, donating to Biggest Geek is here, check out Legion of Myth's conversation with Kevin Symbieta of Palladium Books. Yes, indeed, do that.
If it's at all possible, can you phonetically tell us how he pronounces his last name? Or you better not make me have to watch it just for that. I'm going to watch it anyway. Or listen to it.
Symbieta. Anyway, please like, subscribe, send money, cash, PayPal.me/biggestgeekus, Streamlabs, and Anchor.
Patrick is one of our two. I don't know if Arnman is still in the house, but Sembita. Okay, thank you. Sembita.
Okay.
So yes, Patrick is one of our two paid subscribers here.
Yeah.
He and Arnman. We appreciate both of you guys.
Maybe I can work something out about. I probably can't do it. Maybe too tempting. Anyway, send us money that way. You'll be helping support not just this podcast, but as we said, Big Geek Emporium, which we're really pushing hard. Joe's working hard. I'm just behind him strongly in spirit and trying to produce some content for it. Check us out on the web. Email us at thegeeks@biggestgeekestpodcast.com or go to our website, biggestgeekestpodcast.com. Anything else you'd like to add? I did that pretty fast. I'm sure you'll have
You did that all good. You did it all very well.
All right.
I have nothing to add except, yes, do all the things.
Thanks, everybody. It was a great night. Glad to see some of the new folks in there. Hope we see you again, Flady One and all the new people. What does it say? One thing I find surprising, says Mar Hawkman, is that they don't do weird alt us and try to make it over serious, but in a dumb way. Huh.
I don't know what.
I'm not sure what that's referring to.
They don't do
Alt US? Comics, bud? I don't want to go yet because I want to know.
Alt use?
Alt use?
Alt universes. Alternate universes.
Oh, yeah, dude. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Trying to translate that in real time. We're old. You can't make us do that again. We'll fall over.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Boogie?
Well, I'm trying to say words, so delay. I have to make sure I hit the right buttons this time.
Joe's messing around. Oh, he doesn't want to mess it up. Since Taylor called him out last time, like Crooks for a ring mill, he doesn't want to. He wants this to be smooth like Joe's work. Super smooth. Yeah.
And what messed me up last time is I was trying to make a comment in between getting the ending music going and then hitting end broadcast. So I was like, I can't type that fast. So anyway.
I think I've had more ums tonight than ever. Anyway, I think we're out of here now, huh, Joe?
Yes.
This is Randy.
And this is Joe.
And remember, if you can't be big like us, then be geeks like us.